Today we're going to dive into a story about the kinds of pressures we all face, the silent battles we fight when nobody's watching. It's about a kind of weight that you can't always see, a burden that's carried quietly.
Our story starts right here, in this quiet, totally ordinary house. I mean, this description just sets the scene perfectly, right? It creates this really intimate feeling for the journey we're about to go on. And it's in this house that we meet Salim, a young guy whose life, a lot like that quiet hum of the fan, has this constant underlying current of pressure.
So who exactly was Salim? Well, to really get the person he became, we've got to go back to the boy he used to be. This first part of the story takes us back to a time when everything seemed so bright, before the road ahead started to feel complicated and heavy.
I mean, his journey kicked off with so much promise. Back in 10th grade, everything was clear. He was confident. But then came intermediate studies, then engineering, and suddenly the outside world, with all its ranks and comparisons, just started to crowd out his own sense of direction. The kid who used to solve problems like it was nothing was now staring down the most complex problem of all, himself.
But here's the thing, this wasn't just about doing well on exams. Nope, the weight Salim was carrying was so much heavier, and it was coming from the people he loved the most. And this was the absolute core of his struggle. It wasn't about people yelling at him or being obviously disappointed. It was all about the silence, the quiet sacrifices his parents made, the unspoken hope they pinned on him. It all became this massive burden. And when his first semester results came in, they didn't just feel like bad grades. They felt like he was letting his entire family down. The pressure wasn't just something he felt in his head or in his heart. It actually started to show up in a way that was impossible to ignore, changing him from the outside in. 100 kilograms. Now, this number isn't just about his weight. It's a physical symptom of everything going on inside. And the caption here describes it perfectly. Somewhere between fit and tired. He wasn't necessarily unhealthy, but that energy, that spark he used to have, it was slowly being worn away by late nights, stress, and just not moving enough. So, while Salim was changing on the inside and the outside, the world was seeing something completely different. And this next part, well, it really gets into that painful gap between how things look and how they really are. Man, this contrast is just heartbreaking, isn't it? On the surface, people saw a tall, strong, good-looking guy and just assumed he had it all figured out, that he was popular and confident. But the reality? Pure isolation. He was quiet, introverted, and felt completely and utterly alone. A truth that it seems no one could see. It's that classic introvert's paradox. For Salim, big social events like college fests and parties, they weren't fun. They were a source of anxiety. Being surrounded by all those people just made him feel even more like an outsider. So, you know what? He just started avoiding them completely. And here's the really tragic irony. Even with everything he was going through, Salim was so empathetic. He was the guy friends went to for help, the one who would always listen. He was so busy taking care of everyone else that he completely forgot to take care of himself. He forgot his own worth in the process. Okay, so all of this pressure, all of this loneliness, it all builds up to a breaking point. A moment of quiet confrontation where all those unspoken fears and doubts finally come to the surface.
Just picture it. The house is totally quiet. The rest of the world is asleep. It's just Salim, his reflection, and the crushing weight of everything he's been carrying. It's always in these moments of total solitude that the toughest questions pop into your head.
And there it is, the one question that had been hiding just beneath the surface for so long. It's a devastating thought for anyone to have, but especially for someone who used to be the shining example of success. But right there, in that moment of despair, something shifts. He doesn't find the answer in who he is now. He finds it in his past. He remembers the person he was back in 10th grade. Not just the kid with good grades, but the one who worked so hard. And he realizes that person, that drive, it isn't gone. It's just been buried under all the stress and self-doubt. And this realization, this little spark, it leads us to the final part of his story. And it's not some dramatic overnight transformation. It's something much more real, something we can all learn from. His comeback wasn't some grand gesture. It was a quiet decision followed by small, consistent actions. He just tried to do one thing a little better each day, studied a little more, walked a little more, and this is so crucial, he tried to think a little less. He worried less about what other people thought. This is where real change happens, in those small daily improvements. And this is the profound lesson he finally learns. He stops looking at the people running next to him and starts focusing on his own path. The only competition that really matters is the one against your old self. It's all about being just a little bit better today than you were yesterday.
And this is so important. We have to reframe his story. His struggle was never, ever a sign of weakness. It was proof of his strength. This kid was carrying the hopes of his entire family, a burden most people his age never have to even think about. The fact that he kept going is a sign of incredible resilience.
And now, this story, it turns to you. Because Salim's journey isn't just about him. It reflects a silent struggle that so many of us face. Maybe even you.
So if this story resonates with you at all, please know this. You are not failing. You are not falling behind. The pressure you feel, the burdens you carry, they are forging a kind of inner strength that other people might never know. Your quiet effort is not for nothing.
It's such a simple message, but it's the most important one. Whatever weight you're carrying, whatever quiet battle you're fighting, the only way through is forward. Just keep taking those small steps.
And let's just end with this final thought. Your story isn't over. Those moments of doubt, those times when you feel like you just can't go on, those are the very moments that define true strength. The fact that you are still here, that you're still trying, that's what makes your story so incredibly powerful.